Welcome to Dear Romance Writer, where three writers, or in this case one, always give you happily ever afters, offer questionable advice for all of your relationship, work, and life problems. I am Zio Axelrod, and my co-hosts Avery Flynn and Rowan Parrish can't be with us today. So it's just little old me, but I have two amazing guests with me in Susan Scott Shelley and Chantal Mer, and I'm so glad you guys are here. Been trying to get you here for a while. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. Yeah.
Yay.
I'm a fan of the podcast and
thank you.
Yes. Very excited to be on and hanging out with you and with Chantal today. So
that's awesome. So tell everybody about yourselves, where they can find you, what you got coming up. This is your hour now.
Well, I'm Susan Scott Shelley. I live in Philly. I've been writing for about 12 years or so. I write happily ever afters for everyone, and they often have a sports plot because I enjoy that as well, like hockey, football, rugby. Chantal and I are co-writing a rec league rugby series. We've been doing this year, and so that's been my focus. Our dual projects have been my focus for the past year. So that's been so much fun, and I'll stop talking now because I'll just keep going about how great it is for like an hour. So take it away.
And Chantal?
And I'm Chantal Mer, and I haven't been writing as long. In fact, I believe my first book was published in 2019. Because of the shutdown and everything, I have lost all concept of time.
Right.
And but for the last, what has it been now? Like a year, over a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been
almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
Susan, that you started writing together?
Yeah, we started writing together, and we've just had so much fun, and that's where our focus has been our joint projects, because quite frankly it's been more fun to write together than to write by myself.
Well, the series is awesome, guys. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
So thank you again for coming today. It's pretty loosey-goosey here. We're going to chat a bit, and then we'll get into our letter, but the world is on fire. How are you guys? What do you guys do to take your minds off of the world being on fire? Other than write, I know you like nature, Susan, and you're always out in nature.
Yeah.
I see your Instagram, you're out somewhere beautiful.
I like being outside and walking around, definitely. And I like being around trees and things. As much as I love being a city girl, I definitely like greenery, although green is not my favorite color at all.
And it's St. Patrick's Day, so you can't say that.
I know. Oh. But so definitely getting out and like walking around and trying to look at pretty calming things. And also I've been like obsessed with like British TV.
Who is it?
So I'm watching like old episodes of Taskmaster and just like random British TV shows. But it's and I have my little, of course I be extra about it. I have a Scottish mug, and I have been drinking like English or like Scottish or Irish tea as I do it.
You're just covering you need something Welsh and you'll be completely covering the aisles.
So that's my thing, is I do that. If I end up with a British accent, you'll know why.
I love that.
How are you dealing with everything, Chantal?
So I really limit what I will read news in the morning, and I limit what I read, and then I really do, I have to limit, or I get depressed.
The doom scrolling can really
I
get to
just
you.
do enough to have an idea of what's going on in the world, and and so I just really limit it, and I will I actually we have a dog. I walk the dog every day. Like, getting out and just walking is a huge thing. I don't know if we'll get out today because she doesn't like the rain, and it's raining here. So she's quite Coffee. Special. Miss Coffee doesn't like the rain. But so I read a lot, and then I've got a couple of kids, so I'm whatever they've got going on, and I get involved in that. So
reading is definitely one of my go-tos. I've been trying to catch up on stuff too, because I'm writing as well, but it's really hard. I don't know about you guys, and it might be easier, or not easier, but better when you have a partner to write with, because you have you're like, hey,
total accountability.
But also like it feels like you have like a built-in support system, because like
That's true.
with everything that's going on, it's so easy, at least for me, to like freeze up, when I go to do something, because I start thinking about stuff and what can I do to help this, what can I do to help that, and
right.
it's so I try to like you said, Chantal, I look at, there's a Reddit feed that Mr. X gave me about a month ago when everything in Ukraine started, that basically sort of curates the Twitter information on Twitter to people who are more reliable and sort of like good sources. So I look at that, get like up to date on what happened overnight and that kind of thing. And then I put it aside, because otherwise, like the first week or so, I was constantly on there, like reading everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a lot, and you feel like, what can you do? You give where you can, and you donate where you can, and do what you can. But at some point you have to like eat and take a shower and get your work done. So it's
and I've dealt with for a while the unhealthy side effects of stress, which I'm really trying to fix, because like I don't want high blood pressure at my age, and I might have it. So that's another thing too, is like, okay, you can spend 10 minutes doing this, but then but otherwise I will doom scroll
focus on something
for
else.
hours. Although our friend Connor Peterson had said, I think he found it somewhere, that this is months ago, like months ago, that it's not doom scrolling, you're hope questing, because you're trying to find something good.
So
my husband's like, you're doom scrolling again. I'm like, I'm hope questing.
I'm on a quest.
But it's hard, and then I'll come upon like a comic strip like The Awkward Yeti, and I'll get like a moment of like, happiness and laughter, and and then I don't know, but it's really hard to find that balance of staying informed and figuring out where you could try to do the most good, and then not letting it
overtake you.
Cause stuff.
I'm sorry. I meditate too. Like I actually used to meditate like for years and years, and honestly, again, when the shutdown, I like quit meditating, and I was like, I can't. I just like I don't. But I like started meditating again. Like, so each morning I meditate for like 15 minutes, and that really makes a huge difference. And Mr. Mayor and I, on the weekends, we walk about 3.5 miles, and that's where we just, the two of us, we just chat about like about everything, like, and he calls it like, that's where we solve all the problems of the world on those on the weekends, just on the weekends. But it really does make a difference if the weather's like really, really lousy and we don't walk that day. Like I notice it makes a big difference in my week.
No, it's good to find those. But like we've been baking for the last few months.
Been enjoying your posts, like your pie.
I didn't post last week. We made a Mr. X made this like raisin nut loaf, which was, I actually have a piece of it here. I'm going to finish it. Really, really good. He does like breads. Like for some reason, a couple of months ago was like, I want to make bread, and he doesn't really eat bread, but he decided to make some. And now of course he's eating it because he makes it. But I'm like, you do the breads, I'll do like other things. So I make like, buns and rolls and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's been sort of like therapeutic. Your hands are busy. Your mind is busy because you're timing things and all kinds of stuff. And it's been interesting to figure out what you didn't think you were capable of making or doing before, that I can do this. That's looks so difficult, but you can do it. No, it's been good to find something. But I've just been enjoying you guys have had some great releases. Been enjoying your stuff, and lots of friends releasing stuff, and trying to inch my way through my manuscripts. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, we have I'm part of this anthology that's coming out in April, talking about wanting to do something for the world. It's 50 authors raising money for Ukraine, and
awesome.
And it's called Nightingale. You guys can pre-order it. I think the cover reveal is on the 21st, so by the time this airs, the cover will be up, and it's gorgeous. It's so pretty.
I can't wait to see it.
That made me feel so good to be a part of that. Me too.
That's
awesome.
I love that you guys did that.
It's Sky Warren who put it together, and she's a superstar. So when she said, "Do you want to?" I was like, "Yes." Like anything, because I was like, "Let me do something. Let me do something.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys be on the lookout for that. But let's get into our letter for this week. And Rowan pulled this. I'm not even sure where this came from. Let's see. Uh, oh, it came to us through our website. Yay! Thank you guys. We get so few letters, and we want to hear more from our listeners because those are our favorites. We love like interacting with you guys directly. We pull from Slate, we pull from Am I the Asshole and all kinds of places, but when you guys send in your letters, that's when it's like the most gratifying for us. So thank you. You can send them through our website, dearromancewriter.com. We have a form there that you can fill out. It's anonymous if you want to stay anonymous. You can slide into our DMs. You can send a carrier pigeon. However you want to reach out to us, we always want to hear from you. So today's letter, let's see who it's from. Addie. Addie says, my question is, how do I balance supporting my friend while also respecting the boundaries of her relationship? I have a long distance best friend, Beth. We met in college and lived together for a while after school, before different opportunities took us to different states. We've stayed close despite the distance. We're in our late 20s now, and Beth is married to a woman she loves very much. Her wife has a strong personality and opinions, while Beth is pretty easygoing and open, so I think they complement each other. But I've noticed over the past few years that Beth started to speak critically of herself a lot when she used to be very confident. Part of it is growing older and more self-aware, but I think part of it comes from her partner pointing out things about Beth that frustrate her. I don't think these conversations happen often, but they make a big impact. I've only tried to talk to Beth about this once a few years ago. She told me about an argument that she and her wife had over a difficult social situation. They got trapped in an uncomfortable but not unsafe conversation with some people who had anti-LGBTQ opinions. Her wife sensed really early on that the conversation would go bad and was upset that Beth kept engaging them. Beth tends to be more idealistic and curious about people. She thought it was worth talking to them. Beth explained to me afterwards that this was all her fault for being so naive and gullible, and how she needed to change that about herself. Her needing to change herself is a theme. I told her I didn't like that she always left these arguments thinking that everything about her is the problem, that I actually really appreciate her positivity and curiosity, even though it doesn't always work out. I said that I didn't like how her wife talked to her sometimes, which I apologized for later. Beth said, quote, I think I can defend myself, end quote, and left it at that. I don't think she holds a grudge. If anything, I think she's tried to show me how wonderful her wife is. Oops, I just took myself out of the letter. How wonderful her wife is. I make sure to celebrate Beth whenever I can and gently disagree when she talks about her personality flaws, quote unquote. She says she appreciates this, even though she isn't convinced they aren't flaws. Things are good between us, but I still have mixed feelings sometimes. I want to talk to Beth more about her negative self-talk, but I'm worried it will sound like criticism of her wife because of the previous conversation. I would really appreciate your advice. I'm single and I haven't had any romantic relationships, so I can't use my personal experience as a guide. Thank you for your kind, smart words. I enjoy listening to your discussions every week. Sincerely, Addie. Oh, thank you, Addie.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for writing to us. That's a great letter.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you guys think? Now we put you on the spot.
That's a hard situation.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you want to be supportive and you never want to hear somebody speak badly about your friend, and it's very hard when you have someone who will say something negative about themselves, such as like I have a friend who is always like, oh, I'm so stupid, or I'm just everything's my fault. Well, why are you stupid? It's because you've been told you were stupid by other people. It's not true. Right. It's almost like the lies we believe about ourselves, but you believe it, and that is a hard thing to change, because it could be, is she hearing it just from her partner, or is she hearing those things maybe from other people? Maybe I don't know. It's a hard thing. Like, I think what Addie's doing by celebrating her as much as she can and trying to counteract if Beth were to say, I'm so naive. Well, being naive is, you're open to possibilities. It's not a bad thing to be curious. It's not a bad thing to be open or to think the best of people. Yeah, you get hurt that way, but it's a better outlook than maybe being cynical all the time. But it's, I don't know how to, I guess my thing would be just every time you hear negative, try to counter, but don't say it in a way that would be, oh, your wife's wrong. Just be like, oh, well, I've always found you to be, whimsical.
I would say optimistic, not naive. Like use like a
Yes,
different positive language.
Right.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
about reframing, isn't it? Like
Mm-hmm.
the language that we use
yeah,
really does matter,
Yeah,
and
words
reframing
matter.
that.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Words are
And I guess
weapons and they have power. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
no, no. I was just I guess I would be curious because I why why the friend, like why she feels that, like, why she feels she's naive. I mean, I feel like the Addie is drawing some conclusions. I don't know if they've actually had the conversation where, like, has the partner said you are naive, or is that some I
Yeah, I was
wasn't
trying to
clear on,
in the
or if
letter.
that's
Let me go back a
um
bit.
but that might be
Um,
something that I could ask is, like if she says, I'm so naive. Well, why do you feel that way? Why do you
Right.
say that? What makes you say that?
I
Just to
think that
get a little bit of clarity on what her friend's reasoning is.
yeah, I think it came out of that argument about that
Right.
conversation that
The
they had
conversation.
with the people who were anti-LGBTQ, and said I think her partner was upset. Her wife was upset that she
Yeah.
kept
Right.
talking to them and felt that
Right.
she was being naive for trying to change their minds or whatever, or engage them in
And
this conversation.
and I guess, talking about like looking at how we frame things, to me, it almost seems like she was looking at the moment as
A
a
teachable moment.
moment of, yeah,
Yeah.
of,
Mm-hmm.
being able to educate and teach, like,
Yeah,
so it sounds like it's two people coming at a situation from different points of view. Neither
yeah,
one is wrong.
yeah, yeah.
They're just different, and they have different, they can have different results. Doesn't necessarily mean one is better than the other.
I do think I find it interesting and concerning a bit that this person, that Beth,
Mm-hmm.
who Addie has known as this sort of confident
Mm-hmm.
person, has sort of folded in on herself in the time.
That,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
So I
Yes.
totally understand why she's concerned, but
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
also she makes a great point. Like it's difficult to talk to someone about their partner and
Absolutely.
without sort of giving them an ultimatum, whether you mean to or not, like me
Right.
or
Right.
them. You know what I mean? It does feel like
Right.
me or them, and you never want to put that kind of a strain on your friendship.
No.
So
No.
it's difficult, but I think, like what Susan's saying, like reinforcing those positive traits or reframing, as Chantal said, those traits as positive rather than, the wife may say, "Oh, you're naive," and you can say, "Well, I rather think it's optimistic," or "I think you're
Right.
seeing the best in people," or whatever it is, reframing it that way without even mentioning the argument or
Exactly.
the
Right.
wife or anything.
Right.
Just sort of, you know, just
And
keep reinforcing
right.
with positive language.
And every time you see her, making herself smaller, or how she's changed from being this, what was it, like, more confident and,
Mm-hmm.
having a better opinion of herself, just, I don't know, it's how to frame it as, gentle cheerleading of, or I don't know, because that's a hard thing if you see somebody in a relationship and their personality changes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think that's the one thing that would be, that's
It's a bit of a
that's a
red
hard.
flag,
Yes,
you
that
know,
it
Mm-hmm.
is.
when you
Like,
see that.
in you see that in situations where there, could be, emotional abuse, or just mental, like, just, constantly beating the person down. And that might not be what's happening. It might just be
Right.
certain instances where you had that conversation at the party, and maybe your wife was like, "Oh, you're so naive," but maybe that was also a way of, maybe that came from a protective place,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
maybe not an angry
Yeah.
place of, "I
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't want you to be in a situation that's going to be hurtful to you. I want to
Yeah.
remove you from it."
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. It's also hard if someone's with someone that you have a hard time with, even if everybody else sees it, but that one person, it's hard for them. It's a fine line that you can't,
Mm-hmm.
like, for example, if someone's dating this person and all of your friends don't like this person,
Right.
and all of your friends are, kind of saying, but you're not ready because you still, are into this person, you're going to lose your friendships rather than lose the person. I just,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
it's a hard thing
Yeah.
to say.
Well,
And then, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well,
Say.
no, I was going to say, and I think again, it boils down to what you said at the beginning, Susan, is really just continuing to support your friend, right? I mean, and to do that and a loving way, and and continue to build them up,
Yes.
because if you don't, like you said, they're gonna cut you out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they're going to lose that support system.
Yeah.
I mean, sadly, like I have a friend who she is in a very unhealthy marriage and has
Mm.
been for, I don't know, 15 years.
Mm.
And like there was a point where I would not have been surprised if I got a call saying that she was dead. I mean,
Wow.
that's how bad it was. And, the only thing I could do was give her resources and, and talk with her through what her options were. She made choices that I did not think were best for her. And or her kids, like, but I continued to support her, and I continue, and I continue to do it. But it's really, really hard because
Yeah.
it's,
Because you
you're
care
like, oh
about,
my
yeah.
gosh,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
You want to just
Care
wave a
about,
magic
yeah.
wand and like remove
Right.
people from
Yes.
danger,
Yeah.
but they have
Yeah.
to make the choices themselves, and it's difficult.
Yes. Yeah. So,
I was also,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was also thinking about Beth, that it could be a situation where, I mean, I know I'm the type of person to internalize negativity more than positivity when someone says something to me. Like 50 billion people could say something nice, but if one person says something that touches on a nerve, I internalize it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
something that we have to work on as people, right? Who are like that. And it could be that this
Exactly.
conversation happened once or twice and Beth has internalized it so much, which I think again goes back into that positive reinforcement thing that Addie can do whenever she
Right.
hears Beth say something, or whenever Addie, I don't know their pronouns, whenever Addie hears something
Right.
from Beth, they can say, something positive, or a good memory of their friendship, or one time
Right.
that Beth stood up to someone, or fought
Right.
for something, or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough being friends with someone, or related to someone or close to someone who's in a situation that you can see clearly is bad,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't, and you can't. You run the risk, like Chantal said, of burning that bridge if you go in and
Right.
say, you shouldn't be doing this, what are you thinking, you need
Right.
to, you know what I mean, because
And
they are caught up in the emotions of whatever that relationship is,
yeah.
and it's
And
it's up
there's
to them
also,
to get out.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, 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 go ahead,
I'm the worst. But
go ahead.
there's also, I mean, like, and there's also so many things that we don't necessarily know, like, of what goes on in other people's lives, and what,
Yeah.
I mean, and even friends of ours, there may be things that we just don't know.
Yeah.
And and again, like, sometimes it's really hard to sit by and watch people make decisions that you may not make, or think, no, don't make that decision, that's not right. But
Yeah.
I the fact that Addie is like writing about this and is concerned about this,
Yeah.
I think that really shows, like, the love that she has for her
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and that's
absolutely.
such, like, that's so
And
amazing. And that's what,
respect for their
and
relationship too.
respect, yeah.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
Exactly.
what,
Right.
that's what
Yeah.
Beth needs. She needs that, like, no matter what her relationship is with her wife, even, like, if it's the best relationship ever, or not, she needs to have friends who love and respect her the way that
Yep.
Addie does. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
that's so,
Yeah.
like, that's so fabulous that
It
Addie
is. It is.
is,
It really is.
You're a
And I
good
think,
friend.
yeah.
yeah, yeah, like Addie, like, that's amazing. And I think if you're in a room, I think they had said earlier in the letter that they don't live near each other. Is that
Yeah,
right?
they said they're in different states now.
Okay.
Um, now that they have adult lives,
Right,
that
right.
post-college life. But I mean, it's amazing that their friendship has lasted, because so many, high
Right.
school and college friendships
Oh yeah,
don't
they
last when physical,
right.
distance is increased. But
Yeah, I think just maybe every conversation you have with them, whether it's, via video or in person or, a text message or whatever, um, maybe trying to throw some kind of positive compliment in there, just,
mm-hmm.
um, about things that she really likes about Beth. Just, like I have an aunt who every time she talks to me, she's just like, oh my gosh, you're just like so smart and, like whatever. And she's been
Me
saying this
too.
to me since I was like 15, like, oh, you're so smart. Oh, you're so like whatever. Oh, you're just, you're so witty. Oh, you're just like, and, it's nice to hear these things, but I also know that whenever she calls, I'm going to hear those things because
Right, right.
it's a nice thing. I mean, it's not going to give me like a giant head because it hasn't, but it's nice when you have someone who is like so strongly just like, you're amazing,
You need a
and
cheerleader. Everyone
um,
needs at least one cheerleader.
Yeah.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that one
But
hype
it's,
man.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I really, every time it can just be like, oh, I'll say something and she'll be like, oh, you're so wonderful. And that's something that, Addie could just do in like really every
Mm-hmm.
text exchange or, um, yeah, interaction they have. And
Yeah.
then I think that just like, because it's like, that it can be like Zia was saying, 100 wonderful things and then the one negative, and you focus on the one negative. Like we do that
Yeah.
with reviews, don't we?
Yeah, I
And
was just going to
ours.
say that. Like, you see that 2-star review, you're like, forget all the
Oh,
4 and 5
right,
stars. Look at that
exactly.
2-star one. I
Let's focus
suck as a
on
writer.
that.
I'll never write
Yeah.
again. Yeah, yeah.
And so I think that that's like, so if she's kind of building up her arsenal of all of these bricks of positive, 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 then maybe when there is like, one like, negative
Hopefully
thrown
it'll
in
bounce
there,
off.
right, it won't be quite
Yeah,
as hurtful, or
yeah.
and maybe that'll also help Beth to kind of regain how she used to be, with more,
Mm-hmm.
self-love, I guess. I don't know.
And I
And we
wish,
don't. Oh, go
no, I
ahead,
was just
Gia.
gonna say, I
Sorry.
wish Beth would actually sit down with her wife and tell her how
Yes,
those
yes,
words, how
yes.
those sentiments make her feel.
Hey,
Like that
yeah,
argument, like, you said I was naive, and that made me feel like naive and like not,
right.
you know what I mean? And that was hurtful, because I was trying to accomplish A, B, and C, and you made me feel like that was silly to try to accomplish that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
And
and
I
it's
remember, oh, go
interesting.
ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I was going to say it's interesting that Beth did say to Addie, like when Addie broached the topic, that
Mm-hmm.
I can. What did she say? Like I
I can defend
can defend
myself.
myself.
Yeah,
So, like maybe she did. Maybe she did address it
maybe, yeah.
with her partner, and like I mean, again, like there's stuff that we don't know. There's stuff that Addie may not know.
I was just thinking
Um,
that, because they don't see each other on a daily
they
basis,
don't.
so
Right.
she's only getting snippets
And
of.
she, yeah, and I
Mhm.
mean maybe there's stuff going on in Beth's, like, I don't know, professional life that is like beating her down, like, or there, I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
there are so many different, yeah, but the fact that she, I don't know, she had enough oomph to say I can defend myself
Right,
is
right.
also says something that maybe, maybe she has addressed it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but I also think that's a good thing that you hear because it's not like she's just saying, uh, like when you say you can defend yourself, that shows you're still fighting. It's not like
Mhm.
you're so
Hasn't
like,
capitulated to, oh well, I guess I am a
exactly,
bad person and a naive person,
exactly,
and
right.
I'll just shut
And
up and sit in the
that's
corner. Yeah. Yeah.
right. And that's, I don't know, it's so hard. Like relationships, whether it's romantic or a friendship, it's so hard. Like I don't know, but I mean, I want to be with someone who is like my biggest champion. Like I
Mhm.
want to be with someone, and I'm very lucky that I am with someone who is very much like, my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
honestly, if
Yeah.
I didn't have that, we would not be where we are
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I I don't want to hear like I've had a relationship where it's been, oh, well, that was stupid.
Mhm.
You're gonna like whatever, like that's or just, and so I know that I'm very very lucky with what I have,
Yeah.
but I've also been in this spot where you are made to feel less than, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's because they. And I'm not saying this is the case for Beth or Beth's wife, but like there was a situation where words have power, and you can use them to tear someone up or
Mm-hmm.
tear someone down or build someone up.
Yeah.
And when you're in the situation where words are used to tear you down, that sucks so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Especially
And
from that
then
one person that you've
the
partnered
one
with,
person that you are like the most vulnerable
the
with,
most
that
vulnerable
is
to.
the
Yeah.
mhm.
hardest thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just, I don't know. I mean, I just want to find Beth and give her a hug and tell her she's amazing, and
Yeah.
Addie too. And that's just, I don't I don't know.
I
Like
think,
maybe Addie can put like a book together of all of like the things she loves about Beth and be like,
yeah.
happy
Oh
birthday
my
here.
I
Yeah,
did
that's awesome.
that. I did that for my best friend. Like
Mm.
when we turned 50, when she turned 50, I did 50 like memories, like 50 because
Oh,
we met our freshman year at Temple University. So we've been friends since we were 18.
oh,
And so
wow.
I did like 50 memories and like
Aw.
just, like stuff we've done and stuff. And it was so funny because she was like, "Oh my God, I forgot about some of this stuff." And then she started then we started talking and she was like, "Remember this?" And I like some things I had forgotten.
Hmm.
It was so
That's so
fun. Yeah.
sweet. That's
Yeah.
That actually
awesome.
might be a good way to remind Beth of, how Addie remembers her, how she was. Like,
How
oh, you were so
confident she
funny in this
was. Yeah.
situation, and you were
Yeah.
so great in this. And that could be something that might help her regain that power for
Hmm.
herself.
Yeah. I think friendships, I mean, we put a lot, especially as romance authors, we put a lot of emphasis on romantic relationships. I think friendships are harder to navigate,
Yeah.
especially as adults, than romantic relationships. Because when a romantic relationship is done, it's done.
Yeah.
Sometimes people stay
Yeah.
friends with their exes, but usually you move on to someone new and they move on to someone new, and the residuals are very limited. When a friendship is on the rocks, there, I mean, what do you do? I mean,
Yeah.
that's real,
It's
especially
hard.
a best friend. It's like, oh my goodness, like you usually go to your friends or your best
Right.
friend to deal with things, but now this is that's the person that you're having issues with.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right. It's
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's much harder to navigate.
yeah,
And I think sometimes too, I think we think about friendships that like all friendships have to last
forever.
forever.
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't. Like, I mean, sometimes there are people who come into our lives because, we need that person or what they have at that
At that
time, and they
time,
need
yeah.
what we have and they need us at that time. And that
Hmm.
time may last for, you know, weeks, months, years, and then it kind of we no longer need that anymore. And
Yeah.
and that's okay too, I think. But I sometimes I feel like I tell my kids this a lot because they're like they're middle school, so it's a whole
Everything is the world
it's
ending.
a whole
Everything.
it's a whole scene.
Yeah.
But like like I'm always saying, like like their friendships, that it's okay. Like you don't need to
Right.
have 100 best friends. Like I mean, and it is okay. Like I've had friends who were great friends, and we just drifted apart. And
Hmm.
that's so, and I look back
Right.
on, those times with like such fondness because I got so much, like it was
Yeah.
such a nice time. But it's just kind of came to an end, and that's okay. Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like we forget about that. We forget that
You're
We
right.
do.
that
Yeah.
There's
every
a
relationship needs to last forever.
Yeah, there's an old saying with theater, when you're doing a show, you bond with the people that are in the cast and the crew, and you feel like, oh yeah, you're exchanging information. When the show is over, we're all going to be friends forever. And then literally 2 weeks later, you're on to the next show or whatever, the next gig.
Mm-hmm.
And you may keep in touch with one or two of those people, and then maybe never again, and after a
Yeah,
Right.
year or so.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels like in the moment, and it's like, when you're in high school and college and you go through classes and you go through parties, you go through breakups and all kinds of stuff with these people, and then everyone goes off and has their life after that. You may stay in touch, you may not. And I think it's amazing that they've kept this friendship going, even
Oh
living in
yeah.
different states. And I
Right.
think that's so admirable, Addie. Like, I think you guys really are committed to this friendship, and I love the friendship that you have. Now you're moving into a new phase where there's an important person in Beth's life, and you have differences, but you're respectful of their relationship, you see things
Right.
going on, you want to be there for her, and you are there for her. And as long as you make sure that she knows that as you're
Yes.
moving into these new phases of life, and you make sure that she knows that you're a sounding board and that you're a support system still, that's really all you can do.
That's
And
true.
like we were saying, like
Yeah.
we've all been saying, is just remind Beth how amazing she is and why you're still friends with her.
Yeah.
You know, those
Definitely.
not all those friendships last, and this one has. So good on
And
you
I think,
guys.
like you were saying, Zio, about like how friendships are sometimes like a more challenging relationship than like a is. I mean, you know, you have like one of the things that is challenging is when love interests do come in, because it
Yeah,
does change. It changes
yeah,
the dynamic of the friendship,
and
and
kids too.
Yes.
Like when they have
yeah, like I
family.
mean, it all changes, and so you
Yeah,
have to, yeah, you have to like kind of figure that out and figure out how, you know, how to navigate the the new the new dynamics of the
yeah,
friendship. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
you're absolutely right.
Which I
Yeah,
think is why Addie's reaching out. So I'm
yeah,
really
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
kudos to you, Addie, for doing
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a lot of love there. A lot of love.
yeah. Aw,
Yeah.
Well, right
Addie.
back to us, and yeah, hugs to Addie and
Yeah,
Beth.
definitely.
But right back to us and let us know how things are going. Hopefully, you
Yeah.
guys will get through this bump, and your friendship will stay strong because it is already strong. But thank you again for writing to us, and we hope to hear from you again. Oh man, speaking of friendships, you guys are co-authors, which I know I've asked you before because I had you on Fox Friday not too long ago. We
Yeah.
were talking about how you guys bounce back and forth, like who writes what and everything. But
Mm.
for the DRW listeners, I would love for you to talk about how you guys navigate this because it's fascinating to me. It's really fascinating to me. It's like being two halves of one brain. It seems
Yeah.
to me when you're working on something together. So how did this come
It's
about? First of all, let's talk about how this came about.
so we started out as critique partners, and we started out
Okay.
as critique partners in, I don't know, I honestly don't know. It could
I
have been
know. We
2016.
really,
It could have been
we
2015.
really need to
I
figure
don't
this
know.
out. We always
I
say
have
this,
to go
we don't
back and
know.
look to see my first, if I have like an old email from
know.
you, but it just
Mhm.
some account came out of I need someone to read this, and then I need someone to read this, and then we just kind of liked the way that flowed. Because if I got stuck on something, I'd make a note in the manuscript, and she'd give me an idea, and I'd be like, oh, that's
Mhm.
brilliant, or whatever, and like vice
She would do
versa.
the same to mine.
And then we started like helping each other plot, and that worked really well, and we would discuss each other's characters, and we I don't know, just I guess about what was it, 2018, 2019,
I don't
we
know.
both wrote short stories for our blogs, and
Uh,
we
Right,
put
yeah.
each other's characters in them as just like background
right,
people.
right.
But it was fun.
That's fun.
And then we were like, all right, well, that worked. Do we want to try we should try like writing together? And then we're like, oh, maybe we should take that seriously. Maybe we should try writing together. And then we sat down. It's like, okay, how would that look?
Mhm.
And then we invented our rugby boys, our Philadelphia rugby boys, because we were going to set it in Philly.
Yeah.
And we both plot like we're not pantsers, or we're not like so heavily like we don't have every like line, but we both need to know where we're going.
Yeah.
And I think that's one reason why this works well. Like I don't think I could work with a total pantser because I don't want to turn in a chapter and then get back or something where like, and then the guy
Surprise!
buys chicken and jumps off like or just like something like
Yeah.
just
Which is exactly what Kim Golden and I did when we worked on that thing together.
oh yeah, because you guys wrote
Were you
together.
totally
Yeah.
pantsing?
We totally pantsed.
Did you?
Yeah. It was an
Is that how you write though? Is that how you write, Zio? Are you a pantser?
I'm a hybrid.
Okay.
I'm a hybrid. So I'm definitely a pantser, but I do all of my plotting in my head before I ever start writing.
Right.
Like all the stuff is like, okay, this is what I think will happen here, and this will go there, and this is where I needed to go there. And then like, I'll jot lines down if I come up with like a good line of dialogue or something like that. But I really need to get better at plotting because I'm running these big series, and it's like if you don't, you're gonna completely write yourself into a corner.
Yeah.
So you two were pantsing it up, like
I was like Wednesdays and Sundays we trade chapters, and it was like and we were posting them because it was it was a free sort of Wattpad or whatever it was thing.
Yeah. I love
But
it.
it was going back to my fanfic days, but it reminded me of like another sort of theater thing where we play what if, like, you know, you do a scene
Right.
with someone and it's like what if, so someone says something and then
Mhm.
you just keep raising the stakes. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fun. I love that.
It was fun, yeah. But you, so
But
you
I
guys
think,
are serious about it though.
well, but I think it's like, I think it's because, you know, you have to like, I think it works because
Mhm.
we are similar in how we approach
Yeah,
it. Probably
yeah,
like, because, you know,
Right.
you and Kim, it worked
we're
because you two
similar.
were
Yeah,
similar.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would probably be really frustrating for someone like, you know, a
A
pantser
true
to,
pantser and a true
yeah,
plotter.
it's, yeah,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
think that would be so, yeah, so I mean, it's worked for us, and it's, I guess it was kind of organic. It really
Hmm.
was how we started.
Yeah, we
It does work very well.
Yeah,
we
and we have so
have
much fun.
we do have fun. We have a lot of fun with it. Like we meet once a week and we talk about like either the chapter we've turned in or the chapter that's coming up or just the characters in general. Like with more, you know, drilling more into why they are the way they are, and then
Yeah.
coming up with why they are the way they are. But we have like a doc where we put our outline in, and then we have a spreadsheet that is very helpful that Chantal invented, that has all these tabs, that has characters' names,
I'm a
occupations, what
little.
they drive, where they live, height, weight, birthday,
It's like a series
everything.
Bible almost.
Yeah, yeah, it
Exactly.
is.
And
It
Yeah.
really
it's
is.
so
Yeah.
helpful because if you're
Hmm.
writing something, you know, like I don't remember how tall this person is or how
Right.
old were they supposed to be in, you know, this book because now we're writing this book.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
we were writing two simultaneously that were happening in different times of year.
Yeah.
It was helpful to go back to that because that was, you know, you're jumping from like fall to summer or, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been I do want to apologize for dropping making that awful loud noise earlier. I did not mean to. I dropped my tablet and
Oh no.
Oh
I
no.
could not get it, so
Is it
I'm
okay?
sorry for that.
It didn't break, did
Yes.
it?
No,
Okay.
it didn't break,
No
but
tablets were
I'm
harmed in the making of this podcast.
no, but I'm sorry about that. Ugh.
Oh, you're
I have a
fine.
hard time sitting still, which Chantal knows. Like I'm sitting cross-legged right now, and I'm like, and Zio probably too, because if I talk to you on video chat, I'm like, you know, I have to like get something to hold.
Yeah, yeah. I have this like mini surfboard under my desk, like this
Very
rocker
nice.
surfboard
I
thing
Oh,
love
I have one
that.
of those.
that I
I
got.
just bought one of those well, a few weeks ago because
Yeah,
I'm because I'm going, I have like a shoulder thing, and so I was like, I need something better, like so I'm sitting better when
yeah,
I'm working.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here like surfs up.
Yeah. Does it have like mine has like a little foot massager thing on the bottom? Like it's like
That's
little,
nice.
it like
Yeah,
rolls. Like
this no, it's not that. It's just like a
oh
cushion pad on it.
oh,
It's a
mine has like
bamboo
these.
one.
Oh, mine
Nice.
has like these balls, like you can roll your feet on it to like massage your.
Ooh, see,
Yeah.
I should have gotten that. But no, it's pretty cool. But no, you're all good, Susan. But so you guys, so by the time this airs, which I think is after your next release, because your release is on the 22nd, yes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so tell
Yeah.
everybody about the new book that'll be out by the time they hear this.
So we have
Oh, there we go.
There it is,
Shine.
Shine. And this is
Shine
book
and
3, right? In the
this is
series?
book 3. Yes.
Yeah.
This is our summer romance between Hercules and Apollo. Can I just say how much fun we have naming people? like let's do Greek gods for these guys.
Well, Greek gods are hot right now, so you guys.
Yeah,
you
I
guys...
know. Yeah, yeah. So it's a summer romance, and it's like super sweet and you know sexy, and we've got one of our heroes is a virgin, hasn't held hands before,
Gotta love a
hasn't
virgin
kissed,
hero.
hasn't
I
done
know.
anything, and
Oh.
it's so like he's so sweet and he's shy
He
and he works
is.
at the zoo, so we get animals.
Oh,
And I'm
he's
like, I want a
Oh my
lovely.
zookeeper.
gosh.
He's
And
lovely.
the other guy like cooks for him, so there's like food in there, and it's like a whole like
Yeah,
you know,
food,
sexy
animals,
food
and a virgin
times,
hero.
and,
Good
like,
grief.
it's and matchmaking friends, which I
And
love
matchmaking
to
friends.
do. Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
love this series. I'm
Thank
ready for it
you.
to download onto my Kindle. I'm really
Thank
excited.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're super excited for it. So
And that'll be out on the 22nd. And tell everybody where they can find you guys, because you have a joint website now, right?
we do.
We do.
Yay.
We do. It's shelleyandmare.com. And you can find, that's where we have all of our joint work. And then my website is chantalmare.com. And that's where you can find my stuff and our joint stuff.
Yeah, and me too, susanscottshelley.com. And all of our socials for everything are on all of those places. Um,
So that they'll be able to
yeah.
find you. Awesome. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for being here with me today all by my
Yeah. Thank
lonesome.
you.
Thank you.
No, it was so much fun. So much fun spending time with you guys. And
Yeah, you were great.
yeah.
And you guys can tune in next week. We will have author, superstar, model, whatever you want to call her, Nana Malone will be with us. That's going to be a fun
Nice.
episode as well. We get the best people. You guys are so gracious to
Oh.
come and hang out with us. Really appreciate it. But
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
so tune in again next time for more Dear Romance Writer, where send us your questions. We can't wait to give you some questionable advice from a trio of happily ever after enthusiasts. We see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for subscribing to Dear Romance Writer. Remember to keep sending in those letters at dearromancewriter.com. We can't wait to tell you what to do. Dear Romance Writer is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. Find more podcasts you'll love, frolic.media/podcasts.